I don't know if it was fucking loaded. I'm like, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. And take your gun. You can come back when you don't have it anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Kevin McLaughlin, and this is the Riffs and
Rhythms Podcast, and I'm Paul Robertson. Thank you for coming back and joining us here. So that was a hell of an introduction, man.
yes, I was tempted to go Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
I was going to ask you, are you hosting the local circus here under the big top here? Anyway,
I want to say something totally out of taste, but I'm going to
go ahead because we always
Going
need
to
that.
not.
We always need that intro bumper of the videos.
No, I don't want
to
to
get
force
the
you to
catch.
do too many hours of editing, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
All right. I always check the not for kids, and yes, this is probably going to have explicit content.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
Yeah.
The urge to say it is fading, so we're good.
he lost the moment there. He lost that loving feeling actually. So yeah. So all right. So welcome back here. This is the Riffs and Rhythms podcast. There. So man, what's up with the you do a gunslinger concert and you out showing the gun show or what with this?
Well, these are low caliber weapons, but yeah, why not? I mean, I wear shirts that don't have sleeves. What about it?
Okay. Well, I'm just.
Are you okay? Are you intimidated by?
I am. I
the
know. It's
structure
a
of
little
it?
bit of the showing a lot of skin there for this this podcast there. So is this part of your only Kevin's page that I keep trying to get you to make?
Yeah, you want to see even farther in? Oh.
Oh, there you go. All right, thanks again for
Am I
joining.
distracting you, Paul?
I am a little bit. Yeah, it's because of that paleness of that white skin that's kind of reflecting off the lighting here.
Why do you think I wear this thing on my head? I don't want to get sued for blindness.
I know. Well, yeah, there's an eclipse coming up too, so you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I should call this. Is my
The eclipse.
my eclipse hat.
Clips here. So, oh my God. So yeah. So thanks for joining us again on another episode of Riff and Rhythms podcast, and we're back here, and we've got returning back to the podcast. The guys from Raincat Studios, Jeff and Bryan here. So welcome back, guys.
Hello. Thanks for having us back.
So surprisingly, again, I'm always amazed by why guests still show up for this. The following week. I don't even know. Don't even know why they do.
It could be the insane bribery.
That's true. Yes,
Definitely played a part.
We will take $100 bills.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It take $100 bills. That's plural. Which, right?
No, you guys are fun to hang with, man. That was
All right,
fun
yeah, thank
last
you.
time.
We had a great
Yeah,
time.
I appreciate it. So we had definitely good conversation last episode there, talking about a little bit about the studio, kind of what goes into recording. We reviewed your song. You guys put together.
Thanks
You have
for
a new
that.
song for us to kind of review here. Also, a past guest also who's been on the show, and we'll talk a little bit about that guy.
So I want to jump the gun on something and make an official announcement of the Riffs and Rhythms Raincat cooperative effort that we're going to be doing here. We are looking always for a steady stream of talented Florida bands to review on the show, and Raincat Studios has been gracious enough to agree to start supplying us with those talented groups of musicians that record in their studio so that we can review them here and then shred them.
Sure.
No, I mean, decide if the riffs or the rhythms is what drives the song.
I mean, yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
They build them up, and we'll tear them down.
Yeah.
Now, is video required or is audio?
It's we've been wanting to require the video because but
What if it's a video
not
of
set in
me doing cartwheels in a field?
we definitely want
Do
it.
a song.
Will you be in a
Sure, for
Speedo?
sure. Oh yeah.
If you'd like.
And there should be like allergens floating in the air when you do it.
Big flowers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay, then you can do that.
Like an Allegra commercial.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait.
Claritin clear.
We really need to think through this, okay? Because if this is something we have to watch and then...
No, because honestly, nowadays you can't get away with at least having you got to have at least a lyrics video.
We try to tell, artists that,
Yep.
and
The visual is the other half of the coin, and
nowadays,
Well, that's it. You tell them that you don't get on the Riffs and Rhythms podcast without at
Yep.
least something. There you go.
problem is you don't got a video.
That's
So here's an incentive for Raincat recording artists. practice up before you show up. And if you don't suck and you're willing to do a lyrics video, they might recommend you for the Riffs and Rhythms podcast review.
Right.
It's a good bonus.
Yeah. So, but but now you do some videography, photography, and things like that too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we do. So back when we started the studio, we were working with all kinds of people, just meeting and networking, and we brought in a couple people to help with video. And I always remember really wanting that aspect, knowing it was a really powerful side to the creative, universe, and that audio is just one part of it. So yeah, we've done a lot of awesome music videos. We've done. I personally take photography, so we can certainly help if you needed like promo pictures or anything like that. Very capable in that department. I would say we specialize in the audio world. It's what keeps us busy 7 days a week, but we're pretty capable in the video department. And if we're not, we'll just tell you like, nah. Or I don't want to shoot that kind of video. Like if it's a rap video and you're pointing guns at me, like I don't have to do that, so I'm not going to.
What if they pull up their pants and shoot the guns?
Whatever. Honest, that'd be fine. No guns. I don't like guns.
No
I
guns.
had one guy ask me, "Is it cool if I bring a gun in the studio?" And I said, "Listen, as long as you keep it on you and I don't see it, you can do whatever you want." I turned around. He had it out. He was showing his friend. I don't know if it was fucking loaded. I'm like, "Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out and take your gun. You can come back when you don't have it anymore." It was a young person. So he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "What are you doing? My back is turned. I'm looking at a computer screen and you're playing with a gun behind me." I'm like, you're insane.
You might be talking about a future true crimes podcast we may have to the episode of.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like intelligence is not a requirement to book time at
Music
Raincat Studios.
I'll tell you, with all the people we've worked with, we've been really lucky. And there's only been one time that I was legitimately scared for my life.
That's good.
Was.
Tell us all about it. Like,
Okay.
seriously.
Sure. This was a person that was booked through their parent. They were probably an older teen, young 20s, pretty mentally unstable. She wanted to encourage him to do good things. But he was really made me uncomfortable. And I don't get uncomfortable easy. I can vibe with most people. Like, if you're a little crazy, fuck yeah. Like, we're all a little crazy. Like, we can hang out. We can make music. He scared me. Like, I thought he was going to stab me with a screwdriver. Like, unwell. Really stoned the whole time. I think. He was sucking on some kind of vape pen. And that's the thing, is you don't know what's in there.
Right.
Yeah, so I was really uncomfortable. And when he left, I locked the door. And he tried to come back, and that's why I locked the door. So
Get all kinds,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But we are so lucky. Out of probably definitely hundreds. Probably not thousands of people we've worked with, but hundreds, thousands of sessions. To have one that year.
Yeah, that's a great track record.
Yeah, not bad. We've had we even had one time. The guy came. We always do a meeting usually before we start working with somebody, so we can kind of
Or a phone call. I want to
feel
talk
them
to you.
out, talk to you a little bit about your project. That way we can kind of hit the ground running when you come in. And this guy, when he came in for the meeting, he brought cash, and we were so convinced that it was not going to work out that we just kept the cash in the drawer so that we could just give it back to him and just say, "Okay, just go." But he ended up
really intense energy.
He ended up becoming one of our best clients.
One of our best clients, and he's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He still comes off scary, but he's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sometimes terrifying. Sweetest guy.
Yeah.
That's handy,
Yep.
That's what I say to Kevin. That's how I describe Kevin.
Terrifyingly sweet.
That's right.
Terrifyingly sweet.
Ooh, we gotta sample that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was good.
Terrifyingly sweet. That's his
the
next
next
church.
church.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Kevin McLaughlin. He'll give you cavities. He's because he's terrifyingly sweet.
Ooh, I feel a contest coming on.
Oh
A
jeez.
taste test.
I don't know even. Oh my god. Anyway, so hey, we were talking last episode about music recording. Obviously as we said, listened to one of your songs, did a review. And a big topic here lately is we would like to get your guys' thoughts about how AI and music, right? So, I think you were saying something about Al, right? Al.
I read the articles about AI, and it's a capital A and a capital I. So to me, it looks like it says Al. And so I'm reading these articles about how Al is taking everybody's jobs. And
Al Gore, because he
Who is
invented
this
Al Gore
asshole?
because he invented the internet, right?
yeah, that's right.
So yeah, there's and I know there's a different aspect of where Hollywood was striking last summer, and some of it was around likeliness of a person's character, face, etc. And then where studios could then use it in movies for perpetuity and da 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 da, right? So again, that's where we're using AI now. Right now, their AI is capable of, I'm going to write a whole script and it can go and create a whole video off of what you've written into your, through generative AI, right? So I know there's some, I've talked to a couple other people about this and they say, well, it'll never replace making music. Fair, okay. But I think there's some aspect of where are we going? Because two things, and again, I'll shut up after I say these two things because then hear what you guys think. Is one, why a lot of prominent musicians have sold off their catalogs. My theory is it's getting sold off where it will get used to build new music off of hits from these large, famous, Elton Johns and whatnot, right? And also TikTok, which is very hotly debated, kind of that whole thing. But they've actually just recently have backed off of allowing certain music on their platform. It's almost like they've gotten enough music now, as I've been reading some posts and so forth, that they have enough because they've also supposedly, I think it's ByteDance has submitted quite a few patents in the U.S. about music technology. So where they're saying, hey, we can train models now, AI, on certain music and certain things and take all these bits and pieces, say, hey, put it into the machine, spit me out a new song, write out, and write me a song, create me a song with based on this concept. This is the kind of style of music. Boom. We're not that far off, right? No. So I don't know what you guys' thoughts on that,
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, who knows is really the answer. I mean, God, if you could have, who could have predicted what the internet did for music?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
But where I see it going is I think that, like I've heard that Timberland is right now trying to basically make it so that producers can license an artist's voice to use for their project, and basically so that like Timberland could create a new Biggie album, essentially have other people perform it, overlay a famous nostalgic person's voice on there, and create new music out of these old people, old catalog or old voices, essentially.
That's totally going to happen.
Yeah,
The last Beatles release.
Yeah.
They finished it with AI. I think John Lennon's stuff.
So that one, I'm okay to give a pass on the AI on that aspect, right? Because at least it was their own. You know what I'm saying?
It was. Yeah, they had it like demoed maybe or
Right.
something.
And it kind of always kept getting shelved. And I think they tried to resurrect it back in the 90s, and then just the technology really wasn't there. And I think now things have advanced, and especially the movie, right? The documentary that came out, right? Where they used a lot of that AI to kind of fix some of the video and audio. Like,
Which documentary is that?
The
Beatles one?
Yeah, the Beatles one on Disney. I don't remember what it's called.
I haven't seen
it's
it.
the very last very last album. Oh my God, why am I?
It's them recording it.
It's like Get Back is on it. That track.
It's cool.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's like a two-parter thing.
But it's nearly like like 6 hours worth of so you're committing some time to it. But if you're a true fan of the Beatles, like it's just watching them in the studio and watching and I think we talked about this in one episode. It was this name came up was Graham Parsons. He was actually an engineer on the recording of that whole track, that album, I guess, right? So it was like, little do you know, going back, how the story ends. Like these guys, this was their last studio album,
Yeah.
And they perform live up on the rooftop that we all know, we've all seen, and all that. But
So
yeah,
cool.
but yeah, I think that's kind of where I was like, all right, well, if it's your own and you're kind of trying to resurrect, maybe Kevin's got something when he was in middle school playing guitar and singing, and he tries to resurrect it off that the track, the tape, the cassette tape.
Nobody's going to want to hear that.
His love songs when he was a teenager,
Definitely not.
And he uses AI to kind of resurrect kind of how the quality is. But yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, music's such a weird animal that I don't worry too much that like AI is going to take going to write all the songs, because at the end of the day, I don't think that an AI bot could write a hit song any better than a person can. I think that it's so much of it is just lightning in a bottle, weird happenstance. I mean, who would have thought that Africa would have been like
hit twice?
Hit twice, and like it's such a weird tune. If you would have, no machine ever would have come up with that. It's just such, I think that creativity is always going to be there, and hopefully people can learn to use this AI stuff to maybe eliminate some of the drudgery of, self-producing yourself, and, use it to help yourself, to lift yourself up a little bit and make it a little bit easier for solo artists and stuff like that. I mean, who knows where it'll go, but I'm hoping that it'll just, empower artists rather than.
And I think that's a lot of people. Actually, it's funny. Jon Stewart just the other week had talked on one of the episodes was about how it's AI and how it's a tool and it's not going to take jobs.
I saw that.
And
was
really,
great.
it's going to take.
It's totally going to take jobs and write hit songs.
It
way.
is an assistant. It helps kind of with you writing some stuff like you.
Well, how many songs that are already popular that are being accused of being robotic and soulless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Humans can write some pretty robotic solo stuff.
Yeah.
There's plenty of crappy human songs. Give me some of those robot songs, to be honest.
That could be a whole playlist, like a whole genre. Robot songs.
I think it will be. I think it'll be like a third part of the equation, so it's going to be an alternative option. It's going to be, what did the AI suggest?
Oh, I'm going to put that in the liner notes of my next record. No robots were harmed in the making of this album.
Yeah, or used. I mean, that's so rare nowadays not to do even any correction.
I was really hurting for some robots when I was trying to mix down my pile.
Well, they have. I mean, there's even some of the AI tools that are used for mixing nowadays are they're getting pretty impressive. Ozone makes some really good stuff that uses AI to.
It'll ruin your track too, though.
It will. You got to be really careful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what they
I've
say.
been reminded.
Right. It's on, like, you go to Chat GPT, you put something in there. Don't just lock stock and use it. You got to review it a little bit because it's not going to get everything right. And but it's interesting is because I occasionally will use. If you guys ever familiar with CapCut, right? So it's like a video editing software, right? Yeah. Who makes that software? ByteDance. And they have some incredible AI that was with it where it'll kind of clean up some audio or remove certain words too out of your video, right? Wow. So it'll. Now, I never use the part where, like, if I'm saying all the time or something like that,
it's a de-ummer.
Yes, de-ummer.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That'd be nice.
Could use one of those.
That's a good one for AI to do. Come on, someone needs a de-ummer plug-in.
De-dumber.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting with that is, so here's an example. And I got to talk to you about it because I've hit Brad up about this, so I don't want to kind of spill the beans just yet. But I took a song. I had an idea. It kind of popped in my head. Again, it's about the creativity. There's still creativity aspect of the human mind, right? I had this idea. I said, all right, this hook sounds interesting. I said, hey, went and took the original lyrics of a song. So it's kind of parody, I'll say, kind of like that. Took the original lyrics, stuck it in ChatGPT. Said, rewrite this song in this concept.
So it's Weird AI?
Yes, Weird Al, right? Weird Al.
That was good. That's solid.
So I'll share it afterwards. But again, it's like I said, I have this idea. I think it's kind of interesting. It is rum specific. So we'll talk a little bit.
So you told your robot to do a parody song and turn this song into a rum song?
Yes.
And it did.
Pretty close. Right. Brad's got some thoughts on, how to kind of do it. And he goes, hey, we got to get with Kevin. And he goes, you and Kevin got to get together and recreate this. Because I think it kind of would be a pretty big hit, especially for, the rumfluencer, right? Yes.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah. So we may have to record
that.
it.
We'll have to record it
we
at
have to
Raincat Studios.
Does-
Yeah.
does-
Man.
Exactly.
I'll finally
Does
get
Al
in
get a
there.
cut?
Al
Does he
does
get a
not-
writing credit?
Fuck Al. He don't get shit, okay? But then again,
What'd you
maybe
bring to this, Al?
I just spilled the
Do you
beans.
even have a lawyer?
His name is Al Gypped 4.
Al, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like if you use it as an assistant, but yet we're at that crossroads there. Like I said, I think it's interesting is like the actors were striking about this concerns about AI
Writing their scripts.
writing
right?
the scripts, likeliness.
And
And
that was the Writers Guild, but then the Actors Guild is worried about being replaced by AI, and for good reason, because they've been doing it a lot.
Right, right.
I mean, you don't have to work out for a role anymore because you just press the buff button on the mastering of the
Wild.
video.
Well-
and then Hugh Jackman looks like Wolverine all of a sudden. He didn't even work out.
Well, let's think about it this way. So, how far off really? Okay, again, the different genres of type of movies. If you're behind some type of makeup, mask, etc., nobody would know your likeliness of it anyway. How many people have been Freddy Krueger who played that actor, or who's in the Chewbacca, costume, or whatever the case may be? It's just an actor performing a role of whatever. Now, if you are, but see, that's still a human that's acting, not saying we're inserting this.
I would, I'm kind of, in dealing with lots of lead singers and prima donnas, I would say, is it possible that these self-important actors are such assholes that it's cheaper to deal with a robot than to
Oh,
put up
100%.
with their...
Well-
It's a self-checkout for the
We
for everything.
We need to put a glitch in the AI, and just every once in a while it just goes catering.
So I think though is, but see, where it's funny is that I've kind of was paid attention to that during the summer, and I was like, well, where was all these actors railing against music when this is happening, or protecting music?
You are a drummer, aren't you? Like actors are worried about acting. Actors act. It's the musicians.
I'm saying, Kevin, that all you creative people in the art world are looking out for each other, but apparently not. That's my
Well, these
point.
are
That's my point.
union. This is union talks, and they're only going to deal with the union stuff that is within the union that they're in.
I did just hear that Tennessee recently passed some protections for singers.
the Elvis Act.
Yeah.
Okay.
For basically
What's
What's that?
voice likeness protections so that people can't just use your voice for an AI project without permission.
My bank has that too. When I call them on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
my voice likeness protection.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think that's. It makes sense that Tennessee would be the first one to do it.
Yeah, and that's cool. So already, as you are informing us, that the musicians' world is taking a better
I guess
stance
it's
on it.
state by state now, because if it's Tennessee specific, they're just, a lot of music's coming out of Tennessee. So they were like, let's wrap this up, But, yeah, I think AI is going to do amazing things, but, it is going to probably write hit songs, and it's going to be just another option, I think. And a lot of people won't care how their music's made. They won't care. They'll just like it.
I think that's a part where most, and again, I go through this in the other side of the the rum stuff that I do, right, and I try to get people to understand and say most people who are not enthusiasts don't care how it is XYZ. They just want to order this. They're maybe not invested. Okay, that's the part.
What you have to say is really important, but I have had an idea, and I have to share it before it disappears forever, because it doesn't normally happen.
I have an idea.
I think
Not saying that's a good idea, though.
I think drummers are actually the first victims of being replaced by AI
Oh, very
in the
true.
form of drum machines, and then keyboard players after that.
It's all going downhill.
How does it feel to get replaced by AI? No, I'm not doing this. What is it like? Honestly,
Impeccable timekeeping.
because I have replaced you on millions of gigs with a very expensive drum machine.
that devil box?
I only had to pay it once when I took it home from the store.
I like how Dino is like switching sides in each episode. Who he's giving the air horn for. So
No, but I'm trying to make it humorous. But in all honesty,
Oh, yeah. No,
you are a drummer. You're a drummer. Like, how does it feel to get replaced by a machine?
well, it's been around. It's not like this is a new thing, though. What you're saying is, I mean, drum machines have been around since the '80s and further back. And remember when we went to Memphis in the studio there, they talked about how Johnny Cash took a dollar bill, put it underneath the strings, and made this percussion of what we all now know, and it was like would now led to every possible solo guitar player.
Replace the drummer with a dollar bill.
Exactly. That's all it cost. That's all it took.
It's actually better for $1. So
But no, you're right. And there's so much more. Well, we see a lot of local musicians who are soloists who do provide some type of percussive beat or rhythm or something to their music through looping, right? Which is a whole big thing, right? That's why I did actually, believe it or not, I did start to contemplate and said, did I pick the right instrument? Should I have actually been playing guitar? Because I actually probably could have actually had gigs, so being a soloist. But anyway, that's who wants to play guitar?
You see that? That's why he did his Freudian slip and said it was the Riffs and Riffs podcast because he's a closet guitar player.
Anyway, so just making a point there. But no, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff there. I mean, why through when Apple came out with the what's the app there? GarageBand, right? How many people are starting to do stuff like that, or and it's all digital. And we were just talking before the show was, adding more sound effects. The sound effect board is, guitar riff or guitar power chord, and say, should we just write? Should we actually make our own sound effect to put into the board? It's like, well, we'll just be lazy.
Board do that?
We can add sound effects in there.
Oh,
so if you've got an MP3 or Wave or whatever, we can add it in there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, or do we just be lazy and say we're just going to go download some type of something that's already out there, right?
I mean, some of those, like we have clients that even will demo stuff out and use like Easy Bass or stuff. Like some of that stuff is incredible. I mean,
if you're not good, it's gonna sound better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
I mean, it might not be human, and that's always the thing. The dynamics aren't there usually with fake instruments. It's like they're like everything's slamming.
But you guys talked in the last episode about and you guys aren't performing live, but how does that impact live bands? Because it's no more glorified than the jukebox now.
Yeah.
But it's boring to watch. So I think live is going to be,
Don't disagree. I mean, we're probably very far off from something like this we're talking about, but if it's all digitally made.
Yeah.
Somebody has to perform it, right?
Yeah. It's interesting to watch a drummer perform a track that was created with samples. And it happens all the time. Like a hip hop artist or a pop artist will have a drummer on stage and, they're playing the hi-hat and the kick and they got a pad for their electronic sounds. And a lot of that stuff is like the kick is triggered to some 808 and the pad is doing some snap. And they're doing a Beyonce song that, and then the drummer, it's a big hat for a drummer to wear.
Yeah.
A friend of ours, Sage Duvall, was touring with a pop guy. It was wild to watch him play those drum parts.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, the little kit that we were talking about here that's sitting in the studio is it's just sitting there with drum triggers on a mesh drum pad. So there's very little volume from the actual drum acoustic kit through a trigger, through an electronic brain that changes up the different I was there a couple of weeks ago, took up to Orlando, and I think I mentioned a little bit about the previous podcast was I went up there, I don't know,
Will's Pub.
Will's Pub, I'm 50 years old. Do you think I don't realize I'm nearly 50 and I'm like treating myself.
Everyone else does though.
I know. Thank you. But yeah, I was up and back in the same day and night and it was like, man, it was rough. It was rough.
That's
right?
a long
I
trip.
got home about 3:30 and
That's a 20-year-old trip.
I know, right? Yeah. Up the turnpike and so forth. But again, real quickly, big shout out there to Mike McCann, who was a guest on the Drums and Rums podcast. The band was from Alabama. They were going to be in Orlando. And I was like, all right, I'm going to come up. I'm all about trying to support, especially alums on the show. But they were playing at Will's Pub. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll come up. And then we had another guest who was also on who had just joined our band. But anyway, my point is, a couple of the bands that were performing that night, a lot of them had the laptop off to the side,
Yeah.
setting up their tracks, doing triggers or doing the sound effects or changing out certain types of things on the drums. So it is interesting is, the more I see that are, bands and drummers that are playing with the Octopad, right, the Roland, right, the trigger, some type of
That's
sound.
some ancient trigger technology right there.
No,
So
but
expensive. I don't even have one because I don't want to spend. It's like $800.
Yeah.
I'm like, for a trigger?
yeah.
Nah.
So
But
I
it's
mean,
got 8.
I know. Ooh, banks of 8. We could have 1,000.
at the moment he can only afford 2.
1,000 does not divide evenly by 8. What are you
You're
talking
right. It doesn't.
But you've seen a lot
26.
more. You've seen a lot more digitization into
Yeah.
music now.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure. Show tapes are becoming not even
common.
just common, but like
Yeah.
almost not required, but definitely a big part of live performance. But I'll tell you, we were at Welcome to Rockville not this past year, but the year before, and we saw 2 bands back to back, and I'm not going to call out any names on
Papa Roach.
Yeah, okay. One of them was
Ooh.
Papa Roach, and it was
Playing tracks, baby. I could
so
tell from 2,000
heavily-
feet away,
yeah,
man.
so heavily show taped that it was just
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't even know if those drums were. I don't even.
it was just so unexciting. It sounded like it sounded like in between bands when they put the PA on, and then it's like the radio. It's just like flat.
It's like karaoke, man.
yeah.
It was like the Papa Roach singer came out and played the tracks.
And then the next band we saw, who I don't even, we went and saw Down with Phil Anselmo, and
Rock
it
and
was
roll.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like the most raw, cool, heavy, huge sound. I was listening to or watching a video the other day with this guy Warren Huart, the producer, and he was talking about how when they first got Pro Tools back in the late 90s, and he would start to edit his stuff because it really opened up. They would basically use it as an editing machine before it became huge for plugins and everything like that. And they really started to edit their stuff like almost into oblivion, where everything was hitting together and stuff like that. And he goes, but all my records started to sound so small because everything was hitting together and
Oh,
nothing
that's
was
interesting.
flamming and
Yeah.
doing these natural moves and stuff like that.
It's a good friend of mine was the personal engineer for Prince for a long time.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Cool.
And
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
one of the most infamous perfectionists
Yeah.
in the music industry. And he introduced me to a phrase that has saved me from my own evil perfectionism. And that is that there is perfection in imperfection.
Totally.
And it has led me to a philosophy. And you guys, you may not have thought of this, but when I say it, you'll be like, oh, yeah. So when you listen to all of the older tracks, like from the 60s and 70s, and if you really give them a good ear, like you can hear people talking in the background, you can hear doors opening and closing, you can hear like horrific
Yeah.
mistakes that the musicians made, but they left them in there because the technology just didn't allow them to edit the way that we would have now.
Good enough.
In my opinion, like it's not as a conscious thought, but the uneducated, the educated music consumer, not an educated musician, but an educated music consumer. Because this happens to me, like the unconscious thing that's going on inside people is like you listen back to it and you listen to it again and you listen to it again and you listen to it again, and your subconscious mind secretly is hoping that it's not fucked up this time.
Well, that's interesting.
That's why you listen to it again and again.
because you're trying to fix it in your head a little
can't-
bit.
You
You're
can't
like,
identify what's wrong with it, but something's wrong with it, but it's going to be right this time.
You're
Beautiful
so right
imperfection.
you're so right that there's perfection and imperfection, because I mean there are almost every time we have like a magic moment in the studio, it's because somebody messed up and it sounds amazing, like in
Oh,
just the
yeah.
right way.
Yeah, it's like, oh, leave it in.
Yeah, like,
That's
"Oh
not what
my
you planned
God,
on
I
doing.
didn't mean to do
That's
that."
why AI won't win.
Exactly.
And also, humans aren't perfect, so we don't identify with perfect. We just want to.
No.
But, so.
Perfect is boring.
Yeah.
What is perfect?
Yeah, it is, man.
No such
gets,
thing.
It gets
Perfect
old
is
real
boring,
quick,
and
yeah.
it's that whole concept. Like I'm probably describing it inadequately, but you understand what I'm trying
100%.
to say.
Yeah, totally. No, a big influence on us and a producer we really love is Jack Antonoff. and he did a lot of the Lana Del Rey stuff, probably 10 years ago. And like we were watching some videos on him, and he played the drums on a lot of that stuff
Poorly.
poorly, like really bad. It's like it's
Not really a drummer.
No,
It's if you're a drummer, you're like, fuck you. You could have hired someone.
and
Even Kevin could do it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
probably better.
I
Honestly,
tried to
like,
play drums. It's horrible.
I was shocked at it because I've heard those before. And even as an engineer and a producer, I've heard those songs before, and I never heard how bad the drums were.
Oh, it's
I was
just
paying
a little
attention to other
lo-fi
stuff.
beat.
Exactly. It's a little lo-fi beat, but the crappiness of it totally adds to the charm. It wouldn't be, if it was an actual program beat, it would be
sound like a demo or something. I mean,
yeah.
the lifelessness of
We use program drums for demos constantly. Whenever we, our process a lot of the time, because we're helping to fill out arrangements for people, is we'll all sit in the control room. We'll go to headphone land. I'll plug a guitar straight into the board, and we'll just use Superior Drummer to just lay down like a little simple boom bap. So, usually our first take on a song is with the program beat, and it literally never fails to take the whole song into another stratosphere as soon as we add drums. Even if you're playing the same beat, it's just the little things, the little anticipations and the fill in and, hitting the crash and
Just like
everything. Just
There
like
it
that.
is. Just like that.
Even the overtone on the snare and like the, the room and just everything.
everything. Yeah.
So I guess what you're saying is, yes, the riff does need the drums.
Well, nobody's
you tricked me into that one, but
nobody's dancing without the drums.
An entire long line of questioning just to bring that out. That's
Right.
playing the long game.
Wait, yeah.
We were all waltzing before the drum set came along.
That's true. It was lame.
Medieval waltzes. That's what was happening.
I heard a cool story not too long ago that the first drum loop, which so much pop music is based on now, was actually the Bee Gees' "Staying Alive." Because
He had like 4 bars that he
Yeah.
played it good.
well, no, because the drummer had he had
He had to
mom got
leave or
sick,
something.
so he had to leave the session, and they had him a tape of him playing to another song, just that beat, but it was a little bit faster or something like that. So they cut the tape and actually taped it together in a loop and ran it through the machine in such a way to make it be the right tempo.
So
and
just
that's
like
our-
pre Pro Tools.
Pre-Pro Tools,
right?
yeah, it was actually like
It's-
taped together.
Oh, what like you were describing, right?
Yeah.
That's
Now
why
it's
they
today.
call it a loop.
Yep.
Because they literally put the tape in a loop.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, all right.
Back,
All
when,
right, there-
back when editing took
Oh my
a
God.
lot
You
of
were really cutting tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
No.
I've
Not
never
even a
done
good
it
thing.
either, but
A friend of ours likes to make fun of us and say, you know what they had before Pro Tools? Pros.
Valid.
yeah, valid.
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 So you guys are just cutting ones and zeros now. That's it, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No, and it's unlimited undo. So no matter how much of an idiot you are, the original file is still there.
By the way, still so glad for that. Like, it's
Yeah.
so nice to be
Yeah.
able to add noise or, tape crackle or something like that to a thing rather than having to deal with it.
Yeah.
It is better.
So it's I think when you listen as you described that Lana Del Rey kind of part is it's organic, right? It feels right. It's not like you said. It's not very machine driven. Yeah, you could make it very much machine driven or a lot of that kind of music. But yeah, but I think there's a soul. There's a soul to there's an essence to it. We've talked about like this being in the studio in Sun Studios. There's something to it, right? But yeah,
you guys get a big kick out of this. And for the tourists, they were like, stand on the X where Elvis stood. But what I got from that is it's kind of a short rectangle, and the control room is on the far end of the rectangle. Drums are in the back. The stand-up bass player was like halfway through the room over here. The guitar player was up, and then the piano, and then the singer was in front. And the way they described it, I could tell it was 1 or 2 mics that they were using for the
Oh wow!
whole
Just with the
band.
whole room.
Amazing.
Because think of it, back in the 50s, it was 2-track.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were putting 1 or 2 mics up,
Man.
and
Stereo.
just like the
Not even stereo. It was totally mono. I was like,
Yeah.
a stereo, no.
it was, and they had
two.
they had 3 X's for
Two
the,
up
for
the middle.
mics,
Yep.
right? So they would do 3 takes with the mic in 3 different spots, and then whichever one sounded
the
best.
best.
That's what.
But I mean, talk about being a pro. Like those guys,
Yeah.
knowing how to mix yourself in the room, like
yeah, their only mixing tool was microphone
yeah,
placement
and
play
softness of
good.
playing, yeah,
And
like,
play fucking right.
with those big
Yeah.
RCA knobs on the.
Those are awesome. We have some of those old school tube preamps. They're LA 610s. They've been around since the 50s.
Oh wow.
And actually, it's interesting. Les Paul was one of the first people to build a multi-track machine by sticking 2 4-tracks together and making an 8-track. And I think he did that first, and before the Beatles were doing it. Which is, everyone thinks he's just a guitar guy.
Les
but-
Paul invented multi-track recording
yeah,
himself.
wild. Yeah. And a big, great block of wood that hurts people's
thanks, Les Paul.
shoulders. Yeah.
So, all right. So, speaking of, this song review you guys have talked about was with a past guest of ours. He's recorded at Raincat, right?
Yep.
So this recording that we're going to review is a Raincat production, right?
This one's cool. We tracked the album version of this song, but then they came back and for this one that we're listening to right now was actually tracked live for this video.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, this is a live recording of them in that room.
yeah,
And then the
we
vocals
retracked
were
the
dubbed,
vocal. Yeah,
just to get a clearer vocal.
but other than the vocal, this is all just live, one take. And we did the video and the audio for it. But we've been recording Jake for this. We just finished up the second album, working with him, and they're always fun. They're just great players, and
Nice guys.
yeah.
Awesome people, no doubt.
So yeah, he tracked that. We did have like a scratch vocal that he did in the room just so that everybody could know kind of where the song was. But then we scratched that and he redid the vocal. But everything else is just live, one take.
All right, so here is the Jake Walden Band. Again, podcast alum to Riffs and Rhythms here. We'll talk a little bit more after we watch the video here. I have a feeling I know where this is going to go with this episode since we've already had Jake on. So I'm not going to say anything more there, Mr. McLaughlin. And but yeah, so here it is, the Jake Walden Band, Bonfire.
Mike on keyboards.
Yep. We bought that organ from him actually.
One of my favorite things.
It's a full moon tonight, everybody is getting it on. People smiling and dancing, hard to turn away. Kick off your shoes like a schoolgirl, get down in the sand and play at the bonfire. At the bonfire. At the bonfire. At the bonfire. We can meet by the stars.
Nice.
It's a monster, man.
I definitely have to give a shout out there. Right? That I always love watching stick work. You know what I mean? Right, like sitting and watching on that hi hat.
Great drummer.
The drummer and the bass player have awesome haircuts too.
Now remember, look, we're all doing it. We talked about it when Jake was on the show. We're talking about the white person bounce, right? We're bouncing to it, right?
Oh, now it's got black and white. It's just show.
Because of the drums, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the 16th note swing is cool.
Boo, 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 boo. Sick tone, bro.
There he goes. Come on, Jake, murder that motherfucker.
Channeling his inner Derek Trucks.
Jakey trucks.
See, right there, AI is not going to.
No.
No.
Right.
What you're watching happening, right?
It's disgusting and this so satisfying.
You can't,
way.
right? You
It's
can't.
only good because it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense to us. There's no way you can make that into an algorithm.
Look, they're both tapping, right? So there we go. We know what the winner is here, Kevin. So they just proved it.
Air guitar is pretty awesome, though. Everyone loves a good air guitar.
That is infectious, that song.
So you know what happened was both, the bass player and the drummer lost a bet to Ed, saying if you can't do this, you're gonna have to shave your head, right? So yeah.
Well,
that's
clearly Ed was able to do it.
Well, no, Ed
He
won the
didn't
bet.
shave his head.
No, Ed won the bet. Is what I'm saying, right?
Oh.
So all right,
I had it backwards.
yeah. And it's- all right, okay. So to me, as I definitely, again, watching the stick work, as I mentioned there, I love watching hi-hat work, right? That's, again, just being very fluid in that sense. Look, the Jake Walden Band is all about the guitar, right? Okay, I'm just going to kind of go out there, right?
But okay, so this is when it gets hard to discuss, is it the riff or the rhythm? Because is it the fact that the riff has such a cool rhythm that makes it cool? Or is it just the fact that the rhythm of the drums are so cool and they fuel the riff? Like, I don't even know.
How
the riff supports
the riff supports the rhythm and the rhythm supports the riff on that one. It's like so hand in glove because it's got like that weird shuffle to it that it's. I love that song because it's called Bonfire and it really just feels like being at the beach on a bonfire. Like it
Nailed it.
yeah, it just killed it. It's weird because it almost feels like there's bongos in the song or like hand percussion, even though there's not.
Right, you can see it. Right, you can see
Oh,
it.
there. We should have done
I
that.
know, right?
Oh,
I know.
well, when they do the video, there'll be bongos and all that, and they were like, "Wait a minute,
Bongos.
there's no bongos in this, but there's bongos in the
Yeah.
video."
Well, that main guitar part is so rhythmic that, and then those bass lines. I mean, the whole thing is just they
It's infectious.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the solo. I mean, Jake is a monster when it comes to
Jake is a monster when it comes to soloing. There's no
So-
question about it.
Monster.
So we will
Jake
have.
Walden.
We
If
have
you want to learn how to play guitar good, then just watch every Jake Walden video and do what he does.
We got to talk to these guys off air so nobody steals this idea, but about our idea about continuation of the you and Jake thing.
Oh, no, we don't have
So-
to keep it a secret.
Oh, well, no. So we try to how to build this up. Maybe they can get tied into some of this, and anyway. So
like
we'll
it.
talk. Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
Teasers.
You're too secretive.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. Yeah, I don't want somebody stealing. We got thousands and thousands of viewers that watch this. I don't want anybody stealing our
Spread it
ideas.
out a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so all right. So you know what? Since this is not your song that you're putting up, we're gonna let you guys hash it out here.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, we're gonna flip the script here, and then we're gonna tag you guys into the ring here, into the octagon. You guys tell us, what is it?
Riffs or rhythm?
Yes, that's right.
I'm going to play Devil's Avocado here and go rhythm, I think, on that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, because I think that the guitar itself even is so rhythmic. I mean, that I mean, that's the whole song right there, which is
But is it
almost
the
a drum beat.
pocket or it is okay? Very percussive playing. Even the ba bum bum
Yeah,
bum bum.
That's
Now
like-
he picked notes.
Yeah, but
you know what? I was gonna say riff, but it's not the notes that make it cool.
rhythm of
It
it.
is the rhythm.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
And but that is the riff. Every riff has a rhythm.
It's both. I mean,
Because that's true. If
every
if it
rhythm does
wasn't
not have a riff.
If
That's
it
why the
wasn't,
riffs are
if
better.
it wasn't a riff, it would be a chord progression, which then we'd all be like, "Here come in the thunder
Yeah,
of
but see, I
wildflowers."
don't think what
You need a riff.
But I don't think what makes that song cool is that riff. That's a cool riff, but I think what really makes that song is the groove of the verse.
Boom, ba-da-bum, ba-dum. You're right, it's James Brown said something to his band once, which was so great. I heard one of his band
Who?
members.
James Bond?
Brown.
Oh, James Brown.
Brown.
I was gonna say,
James Bond.
I didn't know how 007 has license to play with a band.
That's right.
Yeah.
License
License to funk.
What did he say? He said he went to every member in his band and he asked them what they were playing, and he told every one of them they're playing a drum.
Oh, that's awesome.
To play like you're playing a drum. And it's really true. The percussive element of the music is so significant. And, you know, everyone can learn a lot from like you have rhythm and you have melody in music, and they marry each other. But like if you only think in melody, you're really at a detriment. And if you only think in rhythm, you're also significantly at a detriment because you don't know anything about notes. So good luck communicating. You're just going to mouth it your whole life. We've all done it. Like the ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah. All right. So did we have a?
Did he just say you're going to mouth it your whole life?
You want to mouth it your whole life? That's what you want to do?
That's what you asked her.
Anyway, so we're gonna say that.
Well, I am enjoying the struggle here that these guys are
Oh, I
dealing
know.
with the rhythm or the riff here. It's nice to know that we're not the only ones.
No, that's what's the genius of this show is that I don't know if there ever is a right answer. It's like you're just kind of it's like
Exactly.
philosophy. You're just kind of dissecting it. But I think that it is a cool, like you said, that like, you know, everything really comes down to melody and rhythm, and every riff is built of those things.
That's true. Yeah, it can all be kind of figured out if you got to do it.
Yeah. But I think what makes this song cool is the rhythm, if I had to say.
Yeah. It's rhythm and blues.
No.
It's not rhythm and riffs.
All right. According to Kevin, by his body gesturing is, I don't think you guys are going to be coming back on the show.
We just can't have him back. We can't have him. It's something.
No, you know, your opinions
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
No, they're everything you guys have said are absolutely insightful and awesome. I'm not going to say anything bad about it because it's all cool. No sarcasm.
No, it's
We need guitar players.
well, see, like it's been speaking, like kind of going on with the rhythm riff thing, like watching Bryan, because when we started our musical journey, he was the drummer and I was the guitar player, and then it's since shifted to where now he plays piano. So he's
and
like,
you're playing bass.
and I'm playing bass, which is a little bit more rhythmic. But it's like to watch your melodic mind come, you know, like you, I mean, you always had that, but like you said, you would mouth the riffs.
I was
like
trapped.
I want to hear this, and you couldn't quite communicate it.
No.
So now, like to
So you're saying that as a rhythm player, you feel more liberated now that you're doing the riffs.
Very true. Hugely.
Thank you.
Hugely.
I feel better now.
I think I don't understand why someone wouldn't want to be able to talk to someone about the music they're playing actually in a note fashion. And even some jazz drummers do tune their drums to notes. Very common. You know, not so much in other music, but you still know when it's out of tune. I mean, if you put hand drums or even toms on a song, and if they're not in line with the music, that they're going to sound bad.
Yeah, and actually, a jazz drummer did show me this, is that when you look at drum notation, those are on a staff for a reason because that's the pitch it's supposed to be.
That's interesting. I'd have to look into that. That's so cool.
that's really cool.
That's probably very true.
No.
I love music because you're constantly learning new shit,
Never going to be done.
Yeah, no way you can learn it all.
which is great.
So I think we all at least can definitely agree the Jake Walden Band is fucking badass.
Rippers.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's,
Monsters.
so again,
Right, and they just got off of the Keeping the Blues Live
Yeah.
cruise, right?
and
Pictures of Jake with all of his favorite Southern rock heroes all over the internet.
We actually just did we tracked them just before they left for that live at Guanabanas.
Oh, wow.
So we went down there and got we brought some mics. They were really cool with helping us, the sound people down there. And so we haven't mixed it yet.
So what kind of machine did you use to get the tracks?
So we went right off of their Midas 32 board using their preamps, and we brought down some mics to help out catching some extra drums and stuff like that, and some nice guitar mics and stuff like that. But we went right off of their X32 into our laptop in a program from Waves that's free called Tracks Live. Super cool program.
Waves makes great stuff.
They really do. And it talks to live mixers. So it basically uses the Midas X32 as an interface. You just hook up with a USB and it automatically creates the session with the 32 tracks. Really super simple. And
Is that using AI?
No, it's just
It's Waves.
It
an old
speaks in
school.
What's
human.
the name of the software? Waves what?
Tracks Live.
Tracks Live.
Yeah.
You got that, Dino?
A lot of live engineers, live audio engineers use it for sound checks. They'll record the sound check one night and then you play it back in so that they can.
The overly
just-
self-important musicians can sit around and do coke. And
Exactly.
and
Yeah, they don't
show up
have
at
to.
the
They don't have
sound
to
check.
tune their instruments.
Yeah, I get it totally.
You're not speaking from experience, are you?
Yes, as a sound engineer, as a live sound engineer, yes,
Oh, okay.
absolutely.
Okay,
Every band I know would rather sleep on the bus for that extra 20 minutes.
All right, wasn't what I was referring to, but okay,
Man.
we'll move on.
I'll tell you what, live sound engineers, those guys are the real
another
unsung
thing.
heroes
Yeah.
of the music industry. Because if you do your job really, really well, nobody even knows you exist.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully.
Well, the difference is that once they do it, it's gone forever. Like nobody's going to be listening back to my live mix forever.
that
Like,
snare
you
was
guys,
killer. Yeah.
when you record, it's like you're stuck with that for the rest of your life,
Yep.
and it's got to be right, or else you're going to hate yourself.
But I think that live recording, and you've done some of that as well too, right? It's with your stuff, and there's a different, like you said, there's a ambiance, there's a kind of vibe, there's all these other sounds that are happening. And again, that night, I was down there at the show, right, and it was great, a good crowd, and the people were digging it, and but it's funny that I go back to thinking about live, where what was totally bamboozled was like the first Kiss live album, right? Where it wasn't live, right?
They dubbed it. I heard about it.
All right. So
Some of it.
let's talk about this. Okay. What they did was they replaced the vocals and they changed some of the guitar parts, right?
That's a pretty
like
big deal.
how do you like every single live album now is done that way. Like hello, the only reason why it got so much notoriety is because, well, as with every show, Ace was a little too drunk for some of the guitar solos, so they had to have a nameless guitar player overdub them. And whenever you do a live recording, the snare and the cymbal wash is so bad in the audio. I'm sorry, in the lead singer microphone that you've just got to replace it, or else it sounds like a trash can.
That's why we replaced the vocal on that the video we just watched. Yeah, and it's just all cymbals.
Yeah. It's really not ideal.
Yeah.
Do it right, recording all together. Right?
Well, so what we're talking about is marrying technology, taking the energy and the fun and the spontaneity from the live recording and enhancing that with a couple of teeny little studio tricks. And making it sound like it would have sounded to you if you were there.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think a band recording together live, whether it be at a show or in a studio, is still a really special thing that doesn't happen that much nowadays. And sometimes people do want to like track it to death, but if a band is really well rehearsed and they do track live, you do capture something special. Yeah. I love when we get to do that.
Yeah.
And we have done stuff where we keep the vocal or whatever, and that's still cool. You just got to be able to live with those imperfections, because it's very rarely that you get through an entire performance like everything you played was perfect. That's tough.
Good. That's
Never.
for-
Never.
Tough. Yeah.
Perfection
really
is
tough.
boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's So what'd you say was imperfection is
There
perfection.
is perfection in
Yep.
imperfection.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There you go, man. Wise.
Feels like Lada.
That is the mantra that allows me to keep sanity.
Yeah, right.
Is yin to his yang, right? So
'Cause as soon as I fully open the box of unrelenting, vicious perfectionism, nobody's happy, especially me.
Yeah. So true.
So,
No.
so very cool. That's definitely great insight into, again, some of this, from a bit different perspective of, from the recording aspect that you guys have shared there. So as we kind of go on here in the show here's, we got to, you guys have an MVP here. I guess, we get a shout out there of somebody who's kind of like, hey, this is somebody who's helped me out. This is the guy who fixed my flat tire or whatever you want to call it.
Yep. I really appreciate our good buddy and awesome musician, Paddy King, because he came through in a clutch situation and played my wedding when I had someone bail last minute.
No
And
kidding.
he was accompanying, but he was just the accompanying musician. And I said, listen, Patty, I need you to take the torch on this, man, because you're all I got. and he did that. And that's
Like he always does.
honestly, amazing musician.
Yeah.
Anytime he comes into the studio, he knocks it out of the park. He's got incredible parts. He's incredibly professional and super nice. And just really all-around great guy. So that would be my MVP, Patty King.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Not only is he super cool, but I've seen him play a bunch. He's never played a wrong note in my presence.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really special musician. Yeah.
So,
question.
was he with the string theory assassin?
String assassin.
Or I know
He plays with everybody.
different name, but I mean it was with different
If
whatever.
you live on the Treasure Coast and you saw somebody play violin, it was Paddy King.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll definitely appreciate the. So, you have a great conversation about the music. I think again for those that are kind of digging into this. So here, but as we start to kind of wrap up the show there too. Appreciate as like Kevin said, let's funnel this. Guests who come, people come into the studio there. Come on down here, either be guests in the show. Or at least have a review from us, again,
Absolutely.
kind of out
Yeah.
there.
By the way, I want to compliment you on your attire.
Oh well, thank you. I'm
It is a
glad
sharp-looking shirt.
glad you noticed it. I'm the official male model for the Kevin McLaughlin Band.
You got that gig?
Yes.
I wanted that gig.
Well, you gotta know or blow somebody. So I guess
No, you don't have to blow anyone. You just have to
I didn't get
know-
those requirements.
No, you don't. There will be none of that here.
it's not who you know, it's who you.
It's who you know. It's who you get a free T-shirt from. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so let's talk about this free T-shirt here that I got.
How did you get that?
How did I get that T-shirt? Well,
Well, you're Paul Robertson.
I know
The rumfluencer.
I am the rumfluencer here. So
And you gave me a free T-shirt first, so
So I've got this swag here for the Kevin McLaughlin Band shirt. And also, I know there's some upcoming events
yes.
here.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about free
Yeah.
T-shirts for just a second
Yeah.
here, because what I'm doing is I'm bribing people with free T-shirts.
Perfect.
And so if you're watching this on the premiere, you got a couple of days, you can get yourself a free T-shirt from the Kevin McLaughlin Band. So I've got special limited edition day-by-day single release T-shirts, and I've got special limited edition Beer 30 commemorative T-shirts, whatever you want to call it. I don't even
What
know.
time is that? 5:30?
3:30.
No, it's Beer 30.
3:30.
Beer 30.
Oh, Beer 30 is every time the big hand points straight down.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I say that on stage, like Kevin McLaughlin Band trivia. If the big hand is pointing to the 6, it is Beer 30.
Nice.
Solid.
Yeah, because it's Beer 30 somewhere. But if you subscribe to the Kevin McLaughlin Band Facebook page and show up to the Beer 30 release party or the It's About Time album release party, you get a free T-shirt. At least one, maybe two.
Nice.
So I've got the limited
good deal.
edition T-shirts for all 3 releases, the 2 singles and the full album. And all you got to do is subscribe. And for all of you shoppers out there, here's a tip. A T-shirt is $25. A subscription is $5.
Boom. That's fiscal
That is
responsibility
fiscal,
right there.
That is being a good steward of your...
of your finances. yes.
It's
Be
a,
reasonable.
it's a math the drummer can figure out.
I don't do fives. I do
No,
fours.
that's
more than 4. It's not
I
happening.
do increments of 4. That's it.
That's why no drummers are subscribing, because it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
$4.99.
Oh, so yeah,
We don't do odd
should have
time
made it-
signatures.
Should have made it $3.80 for all of you jazzers.
So no, the shirts here. That's super simple, right? And how hard is that, right? So subscribe, right? We'll put down the link.
It's a good
here.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, subscribe
Yeah.
to the Kevin McLaughlin Band Facebook page. I promise I'll keep my pants on the whole time.
Yeah. So
And you get a free T-shirt.
we
You
all.
show up at the party.
So we also, to kind of tie into that there too, is I went ahead and kind of make an executive decision and created a Patreon page for us. We have a Riffs and Rhythms.
Suddenly, I feel like there's some responsibility involved with this.
You just put out
What
whenever.
do I?
you-
Am
whenever
I
you
going to have
out.
to put out again?
Yeah. Well, hey,
Damn it!
Put out content. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, put out content. That's what. Yeah, that's
Exactly what I was referring to.
Special content.
Yeah. So we got a couple different tiers. We'll. I know I just sprung this on you live here for the first time. There.
So we have a Patreon page.
We have a Patreon page. Simple, hey, start out little simple $5, a month, right? You get some, access to some pre-episodes here before it drops. You're supporting the show, and then I think it was like after 3 or 4 months, then you'll get a free shirt out of it, right?
We got to have a Riffs and Rhythms T-shirt.
Yes, we got to work on that. Yes, that's
Tug of
right.
war.
It'll say I'm with Rhythms.
Yes, right, like arrows pointing right. Yeah,
like that,
So and
You actually have to buy both shirts.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so and so a couple.
It could be reversible. It could say the riffs are better on the front and the rhythms are better on the back, and then you can reverse it if you're a drummer.
Is this kind of like party in the front and whatever? What's that?
Yeah, party in the front and rhythms in the back.
So we'll put in the links there. We'll check it out. Again, we definitely appreciate everybody checking out the show there for supporting the podcast, supporting us there. Again, these little bits to help us, outside of Kevin's band. Again, this is for this podcast to help us kind of grow the podcast, get some better gear. Pay Dino, right? He's over here.
So here's what we could do.
Yes.
We could invite our viewers to give us their suggestions on what the T-shirts should be like.
I like that. Yeah.
What kind of Riffs and Rhythms T-shirts would you like to see? What kind of graphics should we include?
Right. Yeah.
Should we put the riffs on the front or the riffs on the back?
That's right. We
Or should it be separate T-shirts?
I think you'd be separate. I'm for the riffs and I'm for the rhythms.
Oh,
what team you were, right?
We can.
It's like what's that
Team
vampire?
riffs
What's that
or
time vampire werewolf movie that came out?
Oh, yeah.
Because society needs more division these days. That's what we
Oh,
want.
Twilight. Yeah, it's like Twilight. Are you for the riffs or the for the rhythms?
Pretty soon they'll be pushing over rhythm statues in Times Square.
Yep.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Civil War with the riffs and the rhythms.
So yeah, no, we'll talk about. We got to figure out some other stuff there. But again, there's 3 couple structures, tiers. Haven't really promoted any of it
Oh,
yet.
this is
So now-
exciting,
this-
man!
yeah.
This is so
This
cool.
is 5 tier. Again, a little something for to kind of get you in there. I think a 10, and then a 20 or something like that. Again, kind of give a little bit more. For 20, if you're tier 20. So I called it. It was like no. So the first level was you're a Band-Aid,
Nice.
right?
Ooh, that's witty.
Second level up, you're front row.
Oh, okay.
Third level up, you're backstage.
Oh, baby.
So for backstage, you'll get a pair of Kevin McLaughlin's panties there, mailed to you freshly from a gig,
don't
live
do
from
that
a gig.
because we'll never sell that. I promise.
So
You never know, man. The internet's a big weird.
That's
place.
trul, right?
It'll
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
it'll be some models' panties that we've never.
That's right.
That
Yeah,
he wore.
yeah. That's. Well, I would. Yeah, Kevin and Victoria's Secret or picture never happened, right? Hey, it's for the fans, man. That's what your fans are asking for. Your fans are asking for that. Tell them.
Some of these female, these female people that do the subscriptions, they do some pretty gross stuff and they sell it.
I don't know.
You're gonna
man.
have to do that. I'm not doing that.
That's all right. That's fine. And he's the guy who's up front, who's supposed to be like the look at me kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, whatever works. We need to fund this channel, and if we can't get any any sponsors will be selling pee in a Ziploc bag.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
Right, yeah. So, but no, we definitely, speaking of the subscribers, we definitely, we want to grow here. We definitely, we see a lot of people are viewing the podcast, viewing the videos every Tuesday we drop. So it's really cool, again, even the episode here that drops every Tuesday, it's great to see, we have some great guests, that have tuned in here, like you guys
Present
there.
company included. Thanks for being awesome guests. Yeah.
Oh, back at you guys. No, thank you for doing what you're doing for the scene. These kind of things are so important for a local music scene to coalesce around and to have these kind of things to, to aspire to and to just kind of keep everybody, in the same boat and tuned in. And, that's huge. So not only, are you guys great musicians and yourselves, but I think this is doing a really great service for our music scene.
And honestly, I feel
you.
responsible for giving people material to help make fun of their drummers better.
There's never enough of that.
There's never enough.
Is it really that hard, though?
I think the very first episode, he did tell a drummer joke about how do you know if it's drum riser is level or not, so.
Yeah, that's a good joke. It works.
I don't know that one.
Do you know the answer to how can you tell if the drum riser is level?
How?
The drummer is drooling from both sides of his mouth.
I'm a head tilter.
Yes,
They level me out.
Just try to pull it apart. It's funny. Let's leave it alone. Spoken like a true mixer. Just pulling out the microscope and finding out what's wrong with my joke.
Fucking engineers.
Fucking out of phase for you.
It would have been level, but the drummer's head is out of phase.
All right, anyway, so you good with your shameless plugs there?
Well, listen to my music, please. Damn it. And more importantly, come to the party. The Kevin McLaughlin Band family is all getting together, and we are going to party and drink like Irishmen. And I want you to be there. So look it up and show up.
I think the last episode you talked about where they'll have to drag you out by your feet.
It happens.
Party on.
I may or may not have can confirm that, but
I tuck my shirt in so my back doesn't get scraped up on the way out.
It's preparation.
so
Yeah. I always wear my shoes, though, so that people can get a good grip.
Nice.
So check out, again, we got a lot coming on here. Again, through the different, Kevin's show, Kevin's, music, this show, the Drums Rooms podcast, which we're going to get ready to relaunch with some pretty big names here.
Amazing people.
And
we're queued up for this.
Yeah, so we're going to tie some of that in. Definitely, maybe we should have an episode here. Drums, right? Again, we definitely cross.
I'd love to do all drums.
Yeah, so we can do all drums all the time, so all the time. And again, thank you guys for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so this is
This was
Very
good. This
fun.
is among the best episodes. Thanks.
yeah. So this is
Still I watch it.
you got this episode, right? These episodes here last week and this week is our first double trouble here episodes here. We've never had two on the couch.
Oh, nice.
Duo.
I think this is
Two
actually
on the
the
couch.
most people have ever been in the room at once.
I know, right?
I know.
I think we were probably exceeding the fire capacity. you know?
Don't. If you're the fire marshal, don't come here.
We got room for someone right here.
Yeah.
Well, we're working on that someone there. Hopefully, eventually, at some point here. So if you're watching this thing, if you're a local restaurant, bar, what have you, and you want to be part of this show, I think we would love to have a little bit more of activity in the studio here while we're interviewing guests. Maybe some bartending action going on.
Bartender of the week, sponsored by the wherever they bartend at.
Right. Yeah. Have somebody come in and hang out with us, and we want to kind of make this very interactive, very
Because
cool.
sometimes the episode goes longer than my
Nobody's refreshing your beverage.
Your
right?
cup
Exactly.
does not run us
Exactly.
over.
Yeah, that's right. This is we're now we're what's the word?
evolving.
No. I said we're kind of failing on your show rider, right?
Oh, you didn't. Yeah, you had that in your writing.
Well, here we go. So here we'll Stolock whiskey there. Part of our MVP of the week there.
There you go.
I remember the last time you started pouring whiskey while we
This
were talking.
look how much this is almost.
I know that was one show worth of drinking right there.
So
It's
Very
good. It's
impressive.
that good.
yeah, that's right.
It really is delicious.
Yeah. So
Stolock whiskey, not Polak whiskey.
yeah, Stolock.
Stolock
right.
whiskey.
So our friends House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits there. So check it out there, Stovelock Whiskey. They're part of our MVP of the Week sponsors there. So definitely, yeah. We good?
Man, you put on a good podcast. I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you so much. I'm amazed. I'm not being sarcastic. This is awesome. How about an MVP award for Paul Robertson? Because
I wore his shirt. That's why.
no, literally, he does everything. He does everything. I just show up and make fun of him.
And drink.
And drink.
Typical
But I do
guitar
buy my
player.
own liquor, except for the Pollock whiskey.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, well, here. No, again, I was telling the guys here before you showed up late. By the way, okay,
I was here on time. I just
It's also
didn't
what you
know
do.
anyone else was here.
Oh, he was just sitting in his car as a creepy.
Sitting in my car, updating my Facebook page. Well, I thought I was waiting for everybody, and I was the only one outside.
What are you doing now? He goes, I'm here. It's like, well, yeah, so are we.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Well, there was no response. Like 20 minutes later, you come out and say,
Well, yeah. Well, again. For those of you who are watching this, I know you have no concept of what we're talking about here. We share our studio here with a tow truck company, so it definitely is very interesting, location and so forth. So again, there's always so much stuff here in the parking lot that you never know what's.
Paul
going
drives a blue vehicle, and I know he's here because there's a blue vehicle. Well, there was like 3 or 4 box trucks between me and the blue vehicle. So I'm sitting here, catching up on my social media marketing, texting him that I'm here. Like I texted him at 5 minutes after 6. And at 6:20, he comes out and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Waiting for you."
I think you may have upgraded to maybe you need your own set of keys. How about that?
Oh, you
That's
guys
a big
are gonna,
step, man.
Oh, that's right. The relationship.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Make you a key.
Adorable.
Whoa.
Next thing is we're going to Bed Bath & Beyond. And
Get matching.
Get some air
picking
freshener.
out some curtains.
We're gonna come back out with pink curtains in here.
Tell us what married life is like
very
so we can get
riffy.
some tips here. It's about living together.
Some riffy curtains.
Let them pick the curtains.
So how do you like your China pattern? Anyway, so let's wrap it up because we're going to go into a fucking downward spiral here if we don't wrap this show up here. So again, appreciate you guys coming on the show here. Again, had a great time.
Thanks for having us.
Talking a little bit more, learning more about you guys. The studio there. I've heard so much, like we said in the last episode there, heard so much about, Raincast Studios. It's where everyone goes, right? I don't know how, we talked about, sure, Loch Ness Monster, a couple of friends of mine, again, who record up there. Again, they came in, recorded, had all the stuff. I had Renee, the drummer.
Yeah.
Renee is a fucking awesome drummer. He's now
Super good.
Yeah.
He's now playing with Andrew Morris band. Again, shout out to Andrew Morris.
They're gonna come in.
Are they? Okay. Yeah. So I told him, I said, come on in. I told him, I said, come on the show. We want to promote music.
Awesome.
Andrew's got a great stuff there. They play a lot here more down in this area. But yeah, so thank you guys.
Thanks
So
for having
welcome.
us, man.
And I must say,
a pleasure.
as an insanely fastidious tech myself, along with a musician, I had a chance to walk into Raincat Studios. And the thing that I noticed when I walked in, aside from the huge piles of super cool gear, is that it sounded right in there.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, we've had the opportunity to really tune that room over the years, it's a we like it. Hope you
Yeah.
do too.
As someone who likes to pretend like he's got decent ears, you walk into a room and you feel the vibe by way of the ambiance, the ambience, not the ambiance, the ambient nature of the room. And that has the ambient nature of a proper recording environment.
Thanks very much, man. That means a lot coming from you. Yeah,
So you can't be cool unless you record at Raincat, damn it.
that's true. That's just facts.
Yeah. So hurry up. Call these guys. What's your phone number?
772-214-4076 or 214-8333, raincatrecordings.com, at Raincat Recordings on Instagram.
Any way you can get it.
Yeah, anyway, you can get it.
Google.
Yeah,
That's
Google.
the easiest way.
Yeah.
It all comes up.
Yeah, follow us on, all the socials. We do try to post about all the cool artists that come through and try to, there's shocking how many amazing artists there are in this, small little area that we call home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we said, we want to be part of it. We want to help promote it and be part of this kind of community through this show here. As you guys see, we have a little bit of fun with it. You kind of it's all about promoting, helping each other out
Yeah,
there.
man.
So yeah, very cool.
Got to share the love.
Yeah. So like we said, we're maybe the rated R version of local music scene podcast, right?
I love it. That was fun.
So, all right. So, again, thanks for tuning in here tonight. So don't forget to subscribe and rate Apple Podcasts, all those places here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel there. We can't grow unless you're not interacting there. Leave a comment there. Tell us what you think about it. Again, follow, Kevin's stuff, my stuff, the Ringcast Studios stuff, all those things there too. And again, so all the local music, download it, support it. Without that, we're going to let the machines take over and tell you what music you should be listening to. So don't let that happen.
Oh, movie trivia. That reminds me of something when he said, let the machines take over. I learned something, and I want to share it. My daughter actually told me about this, is that the author of the Terminator movies and the author of The Matrix is the same.
Oh, really?
And what she told me, which I never knew, I don't know how many people know, is that The Matrix is actually the part of the story when the machines won.
Oh.
What?
And that Morpheus is really John Connor.
Wait a minute. All right. Whoa. You just can't drop this.
And see you next week.
All right. So
We'll see you next week. Tune in next time. Woohoo! Goodbye.
Even with a cliffhanger, then.
All right. So let's wrap this up there here. So he is the riffs, and I am the rhythms. Let's get the fuck out of here, Kevin.
See ya.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.